Here we go. Promised a little video on using the vibration box between the two different markets here, the regular Bitcoin charts and the Bitcoin future charts. There's something a little bit different between the two, basically that they have a different origin point. Obviously, we could see this one right here. Right there, we get around, where's that first bar here? We're on a daily chart, and the first bar comes in at the 12:18, it says here. 12:17, 5 p.m. at night, I believe, was the very first candle. But 12:18 is close enough, so we'll use 12:18. It's the first day Bitcoin chart for futures. But the very first candle for our Bitcoin chart actually doesn't exist. The Bitcoin Genesis block is well before this date here. This is July 2010, and the Bitcoin Genesis block is 0303 2009, so January 3rd, 2009. And then we've also got the white paper date, which is something to look at if you're ever interested. That's October 31st, 2008, I believe, off the top of my head. So those are origin points for these markets, and they differ, obviously. Now, Bitcoin obviously had a major high on this date here, 2017. So this high here and this high here, they are a major cycle technically. So even on this Bitcoin chart, this isn't a major date that we could use as an inflection point. We could use it to, project geometry, whatever you do. You could use that point. But the overall structure of the market before we ever got here, well, there was something about it that, already was ticking, and we know that it's still ticking. So what we need to do is apply that to the current market geometry, and then we need to see what's going on this Bitcoin futures chart, and the difference between the two will be, enough that we need to kind of measure the difference and see how it's played out in the past, and maybe make a guess or a comparison now, and see how they're working out now, and maybe guess where they might go in the future. So let's start with the regular Bitcoin chart here. Got my vibration box here. This tool, you can just search up vibration box. You'll find it there in your TradingView indicators for free. Just place it down anywhere on the current price action. You want it in the current years. And I'm just going to go through the process of laying it out, showing you the settings I would use. I'm not going to talk too much about the rationale. It's specific. There's a lot to talk about. There's not enough time in one day to talk about all the reasons why I'm choosing the things that I'm choosing. But if you've got questions, just throw them in my DMs, or throw it into this thread here and ask some questions. So for the Bitcoin, the regular Bitcoin chart, we're going to use the Genesis block date. That's January 3rd, 2009. But every year, Bitcoin has a birthday on January 3rd. So we're going to use a yearly cycle here with our vibration box. And I'm going to set it to, first of all, $0. And in 1 year, the sun goes across the sky of the Earth, or the sun, the Earth goes around the sun 360 degrees. And so that's why I'm going to use $36,000 as the height of the box. Okay. And this is a Bitcoin chart. I'm going to leave that divisions at 7 because it's a Bitcoin chart. And I'm going to turn on the vibration. I am going to set my degree of origin to 283 degrees. Now, why am I doing that? Let's pull up our handy Astro tool box. And that comes with the GAN toolbox, which you can get. It's a subscription-based tool. Has lots of cool GAN tools in there. So we've got here, it's going to tell us, well, it's basically an ephemeris, and it's going to tell us where the sun was on that day. So 2009, 0103, that's January 3rd, 2009. Okay. And we won't worry about the time of day. We just want the degree of the sun that day, and that's 283 degrees. That's why I'm using 283 degrees as my degree of origin. It's the degree of origin for Bitcoin, right? It's the starting point. So take this box here, and I can actually duplicate it out and do all kinds of things with it, which we will do. But first of all, I want to set this box here to the same date. So within the current years that we're within, or close to the year that we're within, I want to see the last bit of data. So I'm going to set it to 2020 0103 and 2021 0103. So that's one solar cycle, one full year. From on, set to the two dates here are both January 3rd and January 3rd. So it's on the birth date. And I'm going to take this and duplicate it all over the place. There we go. And now, as you can see, immediately you get some correlation to the movement. I'm sure that you can see that. You can see these sort of movements here with the vibration box and this one here. Now, the size of these vibrations, these big long lines, sometimes they don't align with prices that are moving very slowly, and you kind of need to adjust the box to get to the right setting for the market that you're looking at, or possibly at a different time when, say, Bitcoin was moving a little slower, you might have used a different setting. But using this $36,000 height here, we get a good look at the structure that's passed over the last year. I'm going to change the box color in the background just to knock it back a little bit so we get a little more focus on the vibration line. And I'm going to take this now, and so we've got 2 years laid out there, and I'm going to take this vibration box and copy it, Control C, Control V, and I'll set it to the next 2 years. So we've got 2 years in front of us, 2022 and 2023. Okay, now you can see there's some things that don't align, there's some things that are perfect. It's not about perfection, really. It's just what we're looking for is some really important turn time, some very close connections to the turning dates, the motion of the market, that the way that it's moved. And these boxes, I'm sure if you've used them before, you know that they have a reverse setting. And so when there is a reversal, we can see that basically right here we get something that's sort of opposite going on here. We get a high when we should have had a low, let's say, if that's the rationale that we're using, that that's a high and that's a low. Well, you can see that if we sort of take these boxes and flip them, put them in the mirror down, we'll see that this doesn't work anymore just as good, but this is sort of a perfect fit. So what is this stuff? This is the circle. We're taking a 7-point star, we're placing it on a circle, we're sort of mapping that geometry onto the chart here. It's sort of standard Gantt stuff, really. Nothing too complicated. It's nothing too mathematical. And so the other thing that I'm going to do here, just to finish off with the standard Bitcoin vibration, because you can see it. I mean, it's working well. What would you be looking at? Well, you'd be looking for highs to come in when, whoops, just deleted something by accident. There we go. You're looking for highs to come in when the highs of the cycle come in, and you can see that that's a pretty good turn time there. You can see the low coming in there. You can see here that that's sort of a difference. There's a sort of a flip that happens within here. And well, that could have been something like taking a Gantt box. We could actually discover what might have happened basically after a certain amount of time through this cycle. If we were to look here to January 3rd, so we'll set it to that first bar of the 2021 box, and we'll move this over to the 2022 box, January 3rd. Boom. Now we've got some levels here, some places in time that we can just look at. Where did that flip happen? You know, with a midpoint here. Well, if the midpoint is right here, and we've got here 382, the 618. So basically, right around this point in here, this arch here happens in the opposite direction. And that's going to be a common place. We're looking for a perfect continuity between the cycles that you see going on. And if it's not happening, well, it probably flipped let's say at one of these perfect division times now, there's often going to be debates on what division should you use. Well, try the different divisions. This is the standard stuff that you would see, in the settings. You could try 333, 666. That's the 120 degree settings. You can try, splitting it into 8, splitting it into 5, splitting it into 6, splitting it into 7, just like we've done with the full box. But we've already got that on here in our buy box, the split into 7 for Bitcoin. So the other thing I would do here, I'm just going to delete that just to clear up some space. I would put a middle box here. Now, I've got a new tool that I'm working on where we're going to be able to have some harmonics of this vibration. But I would put a mid box here that would place a midpoint between the two lines that you see. The sort of duplicated setting, while a midpoint between the two, you'd find that a lot of the stuff that you see happening in the middle is very much right at happening in the middle of the two vibrations, because basically it's finding an opposition towards these settings here, or these prices here. And I did say that we were going to add the other secondary vibration before I move on to the other Bitcoin chart. Control C, Control V. I want to copy and paste both of the boxes. Control C, Control V. And then what I'm going to do is just going to measure the distance between the first, place, the January 3rd, and the first line that comes up here, this harmonic here. I'll call it a harmonic in time. First one that the box comes up with. I want to see the measurement in time between January 3rd and that date. How many days is that? Okay, it's 26 days. So I'm going to just delete that. I just need the 26 days. And in the last two boxes that I just cut and paste, I want to not show the box because it's going to save me some processing time. They'll draw a little faster if I don't have to draw the whole box. And I'm going to put that to 26 days in the vibe days offset. That's going to set my vibration 26 days into the future from the starting point, and that's going to set it right to that line. And what is that? Well, that's basically taking the first vibration and setting it, offsetting it in time. Not only is the vibration set perfectly in price based on that starting point of the sun, but also we're moving over in time by a harmonic based on this 283 as well. But the harmonic being that 283 is a starting point, but we're taking this box and we're breaking it into 7. So this is one of the divisions of 7, where one of the 7 divisions is set to 283 degrees. The box is quite interesting, but it's simplistic in its nature. It does a specific function. It builds these structures because these structures are circular geometry broken down onto the chart, and that's exactly what we need. We need to be able to compare price and time together as if they were one thing for us, and this is how we can do that. So as we get down to here, we can see that it stops correlating. You might want to try like a smaller size, break these down into, rather than 360 degrees, so rather than 36,000, maybe break them into 180 degree boxes, so 50% boxes, or half the size boxes to $18,000 tall, or less, quarter that, and just see what the vibration looks like now. It's definitely going to correlate at that smaller size still. Let's just do that real quick. I can copy and paste it. We'll do the current year, copy, paste, current year here, and paste. So just to simplify, I'm going to show you what I'm looking at here, just these boxes, and I'm going to take them and let's set them to $18,000 tall rather than $36,000 tall. Now remember, I am stacking these. I'm duplicating them up. There's only one box technically. I'll show you that. And then without all the duplicates, this is what that looks like. It's 1 year long. One single vibration within it. And then I've got duplicates that sort of help me see the rest of the structure and the different harmonics all around it. And that will be set to $18,000 tall, and then 36,000. Okay. And you can create all kinds of markers or whatever you need to do for those horizontal levels for yourself. They're all there within the structure of this vibe box here. And if I take this now, and I see that secondary vibration, you can see that right now it's not really floating very well with that. Even the $50 per degree or 180 degree tall, $18,000 tall boxes are not small enough to really sort of encapsulate what's going on here. And why is that? Well, really what's going on is the price is sitting right between. As I mentioned, it's at an opposition to the vibrations. So let's just set one up that's set to the opposition. I'll just copy these boxes yet again. Now that's the beauty of having automatically drawn harmonic for you. It would be easier, but we're working within TradingView, and there's some limitations to what the TradingView scripts can do. I'm going to make these dashed, and I'm going to set them $9,000 offset. So 50%. Okay, these are going to be the opposition lines. 9,000 to 27,000. And that should be placing them right in between. Yeah, there you go. And I'll do that one here as well. 9,000 and 27,000. And I'll make that dashed as well. Okay. Now you can see how currently Bitcoin is kind of sitting from these targets over here, and it's fallen rather than moving up to these targets, it's fallen to the opposition, and it's moving to this target right here. And if it doesn't fall to this target, or it doesn't move up to this target right here, it could fall to this target right here. When it moves up to here, it could move up to here. There's all kinds of things that could go on, but what we do is we use that to make a trading plan. Okay, so if it does these things, we've got levels. If it does that thing, we've got other levels. So what I'm going to do also, just to take a look at it, I'm going to flip over that vibration because we are mirrored right now. And in a downtrend, it does make sense that the mirrored vibration would be working. But just to see the opposite, the regular vibration, see that that's sort of what's going on when we've got the uptrend going on here, and we've got the uptrend that kind of started to happen here in correspondence with this opposition, and it fell to there, and now sort of hinged perfectly on the vibration. So the vibration box gives you a lot of things. It gives you basically, a lot of different levels and prices that price can hit throughout time. Over you've got predictive levels, and maybe I can sort of highlight it here, right? This one here. That was an opposition. It moved 180 degrees, the price. Moved to full 360 from here now. Or actually, no, it moved 180 degrees here, and then it moved again 180 degrees from there to there. So I'm just trying to copy that. There we go. And it's falling through this fall right at this corner here. We got a nice little triangle here within the vibration. We get the low basically at the corner of this vibration here. Comes up, falls. Where does it fall? Well, this low here holds it back. There's still some regular kind of technical analysis that has to be going on. We have to be watching lows. We have to be watching VWAPs or volume, whatever you want to do. Okay. So this is the first vibration that we're concerned with. This is we can call it the Genesis block birthday. Okay. And we need to see the other vibration, and that's the one on the CME futures. So the other thing that we need to do is learn what is the starting point for the futures. That was supposed to be the third, but it is set to the third. Oh, it's because it's the time zone here. That's fine. It is on the third there, 283. But what I can do is copy it over. And we want to know when was the sun, where was the sun on the date of the starting point for the futures. So I'll take this line here. That's my date line, and it's set to the first day, the 17th, 266 degrees. So I could just copy this over here. Copy and paste. Copy and paste. So we've got that same vibration copied over, and it's going to work technically. It's just copying it over directly. It's set to calendar days, this box, so it's going to work just the same. It's the same prices that happen within the futures boxes. But why does it not work perfectly? Well, maybe this will give us some sort of indication as to why sometimes the price doesn't work so well with one vibration only. There's going to be this other one that works pretty well too, and that's sort of an interesting difference to take a look at. So that's 266 degrees. So first of all, we're going to change the vibration to 266, but mainly we need to change the location of the box, which it's not going to be too far off. It's going to be basically, it's in a similar range, but, it's going to be a month before almost, or a half month before. That's the 3rd. We're going to set that back to the 17th of December. Right? Just like we had 266, right? And we can create some more boxes later. But now we've got that first date being, did that work? Let's make sure that is not the December 17th. December 17th. There we go. And the other thing that we need to do is offset this to proper harmonics based on 266 degrees. So now that this is shifted, we can see that the first harmonic comes in quite closer than that 26 days. I think it's going to be basically 6 or 7 days. There we go, 6. Just tap it in there and it'll give me that, 7 days. Okay, so it's a sort of thinner distance, but you can see that that worked really well here. And if I take this Control C, Control V, copy and paste, I'm going to place it on the previous year as well. And I'm going to set it from 0 to 36,000 because we know that that was sort of working better before. And we'll just shift it back a year here. 2019 to 2020. I'll just delete that one, copy and paste the one I've got, and set it off 8 days or 7 days. There we go. Oh, maybe 8 days, whatever. There we go. All right. So you can see here it worked really well. It's basically still it's almost the same, it's a different vibration. It's tighter. It's there's less channels to sort of deal with. And the other thing is that when we invert it, just the same, we get that different vibration that worked when the other one wasn't. So we got a low here instead of a high here instead of a low, but when it moved, kind of moved with this vibration a little better, right? We have this high coming in here, but this is where I start to look at the two and see the differences, right? We're seeing a really good connection. We're seeing, almost perfect highs coming in here, movement through, perfect high coming in there, a really good high coming in there. But previously we had, last year, some major high just off of there, and we know that we were looking at the other chart, and it caught the downtrend a little better. And in here, well, we need to flip that back over. There we go. Again, just a couple days off of the actual high. And it's fluctuating above the price range completely, and that's completely understandable. It's hitting our harmonic in price perfectly, and we can express that with a secondary line and draw them off of the different boxes and doing things like that, or we could draw the midpoint like I did before. So let's do that. Control C, Control V, and I'll set it down to negative. Ooh, what are we going to do? Negative 18,000 and 18,000. That's still 36,000 tall, but it's shifted down, say 50%, right? It's hitting that midpoint, and I'll make that a dash, so it's going like a midpoint. We'll do the same thing. Actually, I'll just cut and paste it. Control C. There we go. And offset it 7. There. So that's that good midpoint that worked well for this uptrend in here. The downtrend that comes in there. And we could set this one up too. So just copy and paste one of them. Set it to 9,000. 27,000. Make it dashed. There we go. There's that midpoint. And I'll cut and paste it and set it offset again, just so we get that little channel. It makes a difference. You know, sometimes it's, you know, you get double bottoms off of those channels. You might get it like a W or an M kind of shaping that kind of works perfectly with the vibration, right? Now, you notice I'm using very, you know, arbitrary numbers here, you know, breaking it down. I don't know if to me it seems arbitrary, breaking things down from 36,000. It's basically just taking a circle 360 degrees, placing it right on price and cutting it down in exact proportions. In this way, I'm basically only doing 2 different ways, seeing the whole 360 degrees or breaking it down and seeing 180 degrees and sort of squishing it and seeing it half speed essentially is what's going on there. And if I just take these last ones and let's unmirror them, because we know that that was showing us on the other chart some stuff about the current market. Let's just see the unmirrored stuff. You know, some people like to see both of the vibration lines. It's not necessary. It's all about how much detail you need. Those things to me, I mean, I don't know. I'm a detail oriented guy, so I can see a bunch of stuff, but I know everybody hates details on charts. So let's see here. There we go. There's the missing culprit. Okay. We're all geometry in sync. Okay. So you can see here, this one was a little different, right? This uptrend on, let's take a look here. We can compare directly now. Right? Almost the same, but different enough, right? We're getting this uptrend here that's definitely expressed on the futures market. There's no question. They follow each other. But where's that cycle? Why isn't it perfect with the cycles that we've got going on Bitcoin? And well, which one works better? I don't really see a better or worse. I see both of them kind of figuring out which one's going to be the more prevalent market at different times. And it might be a volume thing. It might be a time thing. How much time has passed? How much prevalence does this future market have over the bear market rather than a bull market? Let's say. Um, so they're similar. They're both calling for uptrend if the price stays on the vibration. It doesn't say the price is going here. That would be a target, right? It would be a target right there and right there. Back up to 22K. But if it doesn't, if it hits one of these harmonics of price and falls, it probably will move to these levels within here or these levels within here. Timing wise, well, when we're coming up to an important time on this chart, I'm watching both of these charts basically, right? I mean, that's the idea. Okay. Now, I went through a lot here. I think that there's a lot to dig into. You should really try these things out. These are free tools that I've given you. Okay, it's just one tool that I've been showing you. The Astro Ephemeris, it's a great little tool, GAN toolbox, but you can find this information very easily. Where was the sun the day of a certain day of the year? It's very simplistic. You could find that. Okay, AstroSeek. There's all kinds of online ephemerises that can tell you where the sun is that on a certain day. Okay, I'm going to go through one more chart here really quickly. I did tell you that I was going to look at the DXY, and I'm just going to go quickly with a sort of different technique that you can try, and then I'm going to go back and show you a couple more things real quick. So let's look at the DXY futures. Is that it there? Yeah, there we go. Okay. I like to use the futures just to see the volume, basically. I don't trade the futures. Okay. So we want to know what's going on with the dollar because, in a sense, if it's not going to crash and it's going to bounce here, then it's going to be tougher for stocks and crypto to continue to recover and to bounce and break over their previous resistances. It's interesting how this recent crash in the dollar really corresponded really nicely with the crypto crash, and that correspondence or that correlation is interesting for crypto. So this time what I'm going to do, instead of our standard way of looking at it, the chart that I posted was a monthly chart anyways, the one that I mentioned. So I'll just take a really long range look at it because I predicted this high came in September, October. I had said October 12th was a strong date, and that did come in as one of the last days near the high. And once those highs come in and once they start to break down, we got to say, well, okay, we got the breakdown. That's the one we wanted. The markets did what we expected. What's next? Because, well, do we just hold our positions or do we just keep, waiting and waiting? Well, we'd like to have a little bit of a little more than just waiting. So we can keep looking, basically. So I've got my volume versus time GAN fan. Now, this is I'm just going to be using it because it's handy. It helps me do this easily. But you could obviously do this with any old bar counting tool. This is going to help me count the bars here. So when I lay that down, it lays this crazy old GAN fan. I'm going to knock that down to 0.1. And here we go. So within my GAN fan, I can count these different dates. These are just counting hard months, okay? Now, if you look at the month, you look at the bar, and you look at the bottom here, it tells you the number. That's 104 bars from the low. That's 120 bars from the low, right? It's not that complicated. So when you see all this stuff, yes, I'm giving you a look at my special tool here that I've built here that counts for you and does all these things, but you know that you can just count these things yourself. 161 bars, boom. So what's going to happen when we hit 180 bars here? 180 months. That's March 2023, important time for all markets, the world. Okay. We're sitting on the 2x1 perfectly. What does that mean? For a GAN trader, it means, well, until it breaks underneath, this is still an uptrend. That's all it means. Okay. If it breaks underneath this, we get a close below this on a monthly. Well, maybe we're looking at a retreat back to this, the medium in a sense, the average or the mean. Okay. That would be a crazy move, but it can happen. It's happened before. No problem. Yeah, we could look at the volume of this market, but honestly, I mean, I could show you how perfect the volume really does predict things here, but what I want to really show you is, here, I'll show you quickly. This is a monthly chart, and I'll show the volume in the chart here, and maybe we don't have volume on this particular DX futures. Okay, that was a different chart. Okay, and we have volume, I believe, on this here. Yep, okay. So if I were to tell you that volume is being displayed here in a particular way with cycles. Okay, volume is predicting where price should go. And in a sense, just like a VWAP, it's supposed to be if the price is above it and riding with the volume and not losing track of volume. When we lose volume, we kind of lose price and it kind of weakens and price falls down to those levels. And that's basically what the volume versus time fans do. This is what GAN fans tell us. This is the information that GAN fans tell us. Not I don't see many people doing this, but anyway, this high here coming in, that's an important level here for the volume. And well, it was an important level for price as well. There's a lot more going on here than just this one, handy level here within the fan. But it is interesting that there is this level here of 102. So interesting if that would be a target range for a correction around 180 bars. And if it did get to 102, then you can be seeing, levels under these highs anyways. Okay. Now, the other thing that I could show you here with this 360 bar monthly bar, let's just get rid of that here. I can show you what a vibe box looks like on here. A little different technique, let's say. 360 bars. I take this here. What I'm going to do, got my box set. Take my fan, set it to the low there perfectly. I think the low on futures there. Okay, it came there. I believe it's that bar there. Okay, that is not playing well with my mouse right now. There we go. Just to be precise. Okay, so reset my GAN fan, get rid of the volume for now, and I'm going to only show the 45-degree angle. Okay, and I'm going to take this and I'm going to set it to the price where, if you watch the GAN fan, the center angle there, that 1 by 1, that's it's basically the angle that's moving with the settings of the fan. Okay, it's moving at exactly right now. What is it? Here, I'll tell you. 10 cents per month. Okay, and so that means that is $36. Okay, that it's moving by the 360th month. But my vibration box, if you've ever used it before, you probably know you can't place dates in the future. So we'll just take that and figure out the date and then manually enter it. So 360 bars is April 2038. 2038 0401. Oh, that jumped ahead for whatever reason. That was weird. Okay. And funny enough, we're going to leave this as 7 as well, just even though the Bitcoin chart was 7. Well, this is the US dollar, and the US dollar vibrates with the word America, and the word America is 7 letters. You can read your GAN books for that. We'll add the vibration, and I know that the position of the sun on Independence Day is 102 degrees, so I'm going to put that in there. Independence Day, July 4th. There we go. And now, take a look at the vibration. I know it doesn't look right, but if we flip it, I think we might see a more perfect correlation. There you go. Of course, this is the Independence Day vibration on the US dollar. Of course it works, right? Not weird at all. You can duplicate up and down, but I think for the fan, I would only duplicate up once. And we know there is a midpoint here too. There is a 50%. Technically, we could see not just, whoops, that forward is going to distract me. What I want to do is I want to set up, let's first of all just change the color of that again, just to sort of knock it back. We'll make it red. Okay. So that tells us a lot of information, I think. You don't have to, you're not going to question me. Okay, 360 bars. Try it out. And if I take this, copy and paste it, and I'm going to take this price, and I'm going to place it on the 1x2 instead. So I'm going to see the halfway sized waves. Okay, 89.10, 89.1. Okay. So when the market was moving slowly and sort of caps the market in a more direct way, it's giving us borders that work. And if you offset that onto that first harmonic, you might get some other channel kind of information from that. If you put them on both at the same time, you might see some cool information when they come together. Yeah, I mean, that's handy information to have. You could definitely double stack this up again. One more thing that I would like to do is just sort of show those midpoints again. So Control C on the bigger box, and what I'm going to do, take my measurement tool, just measure the 50% mark between, we've got our 360-degree move, essentially, and I'm going to set it between the two 50% marks. So I'm going to shift it up 50%. Okay. So I've got the secondary box that I printed. 89.1 is the first number. We already had that number from the midpoint. And this one here is 125.25. Might not be exact, but it's good enough. Oops. There you go. Now I want to put that midpoint dotted, or sorry, dashed, so I know it's the midpoint. Okay. And I could maybe put the lower one down by duplicating down. That'll help to see midpoint, duplicate down. Oops. There you go. Well, anyway, you can see it. Probably when it was moving a little slower down here, placing a midpoint for this slower cycle would give us something interesting as well for this here in the midpoint in here. But you could try that out. Okay. Yeah, so I just wanted to quickly go back here. So this is Bitcoin, and it works well. You see it working well, but same old boxes for the same different, not using the same exact boxes for different cryptos, but using it for every crypto that you know or every other market that you know. You certainly want to see the targets like these ones that work out most of the time for these markets. So if you want to try something like taking this here, and I'll just say rename it to BTC versus BTCF vibe box video. And I'm going to take this, make a copy, and we'll call this one ETH. Oops. Let's replace this. Because, I want to show you how, technically this exact process on anything should work, and ETH is just another cryptocurrency. It's one of the more major ones, and it should move a lot like Bitcoin, but it's got its own vibration and it's got its own thing going on. So we need to see it if we want to trade it. So what I just do in here, I'm just going to use one box. I'm going to change this to ETH. And we could look at the futures and Bitcoin, just like we did with Bitcoin, but, I'll leave that up to you. And I've got an index here, an all-time index. Okay. Now, obviously, this is the Bitcoin vibration, and we need to see what the Ethereum vibration looks like, and I'll just shove that in there for you. I'll tell you that the Ethereum date that we want to use is 2015 07/30. That's July 30th, 2015. Okay. The time, off the top of my head, 3:23 p.m., but you could look that up. Doesn't matter, we just want that 127. 127 is the position of the sun on that date. So I'm going to take that and take all my boxes 127, change them all to 127. So you know that I'm just taking the boxes and shifting them onto an Ethereum chart, and now we're going to shift them onto the birth dates and the Genesis block dates of Ethereum and see what they look like, right? I mean, I'm not doing anything strange. I'm doing the exact same process over again here. Let's take these ones too in the past, I believe, yeah. and change them all to 127 as well. And then we'll change the dates to the birthday. We could do some cut and pasting. Maybe I'll do, oops, 127, 127, okay. And it's Ethereum, so it's probably going to be about $10 per degree. We want to see the, rather than 36,000, we want to see 3,600. So we could cut and paste 3,600 here. And anytime we saw 36,000, let's replace it. Right. Knock a zero off. 1,800 rather than 18,000. 3,600 rather than 36,000. And 900 rather than 9,000, and 2,700 rather than 27,000. Just brings it down to the level of Ethereum, right? 10 times less, basically. And we don't want to see all this information at once. Let's see here. What can we see? Okay. What do I got going on here? Okay. So this vibration here, it's still set to that January date, so we need to change it to the July date. So set it back 1 year to the July 30th date, July 30th of this year of 2021, and copy that, paste it, 2022, July 30th, 2022, and we'll take this. We've got this pasted and set that to the same date, 2022. Oops. Bear with me. Don't feel like doing any video editing, so you're going to have to get all of this. Okay. So that is a box set within 0 to $1,800 tall, right? And so that means that it's basically $5 per degree of the sun in price tall, and set properly in time, 1-to-1 in time with the sun. And the other thing that we've got to do is set it to 8 for Ethereum, because this is Ethereum and it's got 8 letters. So all the other boxes, I'll set them to as well in there if we want to see something else. Just to prove the point here, 8, okay. Looks a little bit off, but we maybe have to see the mirror. It's a downtrend. Okay. There we go. Pretty perfect. And the other thing is that the offset of Ethereum, it's a little bit wide, so it's hard to visualize it. It doesn't look as neat as the Bitcoin chart, but we'll take a look at it. This distance here, about 38 bars, let's say. 38 rather than 26. So the first harmonic comes in a little bit further off. So it does create the channel that you see here pretty clearly, right? And the other thing would be to take that and set it onto the secondary level, the opposition. Set it to 9,000 and 20,000, 900 and 2,700. It's Ethereum. 900, 2,700. All right. So you can see it's a little bit much to see all of that at once. First of all, I want to make that one dashed. That is the opposition. Right. Delete that. We don't need that counter anymore. So makes a lot of sense, a lot more sense when you take it down. See it like this, right? This is the yearly cycle for Ethereum. It's the birthday cycle. Now, if you're an astrologer and you're, learning a lot about astrology and digging in deeply, now I always say, well, hey, what about that old solar return? Take a look at it. It's good, okay? There's a lot more you can do with it than just this. And of course, you can apply a ton of other astrology to this if you're somebody who does that. I'm not somebody who does that only because, I'm in for trading here. We want to be making money. We want to be digging in on how we could be trading these things. And well, if we've got this kind of cycle information that works this well for us a lot of the time, it's about just waiting for things to confirm, right? Is this going to continue down? Is this going to move up? Is this going to flip with some sort of cycle? Well, we do have some sort of weird thing going on here where it is matching the cycle, but it didn't move up here. So we could have a flip going on. We could see what that other cycle looks like, the non-mirrored cycle. We could take a closer look also and see that closer in um, vibration. This would be an uptrend here. So if that Bitcoin chart starts to work out in that uptrend, like I said, it's nothing about being a for sure thing. It's all about the actual targets, the corners of these points. These are targets within the vibrations, the points in price and time when they come together and they sort of, the geometry flips. But if the cycles flip, so be it. They flip, and then we need to see the mirroring information. And we've got the horizontal levels. We watch for the horizontal levels to break. When they break, that's when we trade towards the downside. When they break upwards, we trade towards the upside. If the cycle's up, the price is breaking to the upside. Well, hey, it's you go with what you've got here. Works really well a lot of the time. So why not work with it when it is working? And then when you see it not working, it's okay. You've got stops, you flip over, and you've got the other cycle that's going on. So here, in here, this is all working great the other way. But in here, maybe we start to work the other way. We did get a high there. Maybe it was working at a tighter, less than $5 per degree, maybe $2 per degree or $1 per degree would work when the market's moving really slowly. Okay, let's just take a look here quickly at the offset cycle that we had set up. Well, I'm going to turn on the box since we're looking at it separately this time. Okay. So all this is that separate set with the 38-day offset set to the first harmonic. And you can see that it works as well. The channel is shifted in this downtrend very much sort of in here. And yeah, we could look at it all at the same time and get kind of starry-eyed when we're looking at it because there's a lot of information there. Let's look at that downtrending all together at once. So there's a lot of information there. The opposition maybe is too much. You don't need to see that. Now you've just got sort of these borders that are here. But when you want to know how it's going to be correlating with the price action perfectly, well, there's going to be the vibration that is either opposite or possibly sort of tighter. The tools work one way. I mean, there's different ways that you can do this, but this does visualize it quite well, I think. Now you can see how it's falling off there. Maybe we're getting into a point where this sort of W shape is going to play out in the opposite direction, in the uptrending sort of way, like Bitcoin is looking like it could be moving up eventually here. Who knows if it falls down first though, and that's fine. It can happen. Nothing is deviated from our plan here. It's hitting targets. It's gonna hit a target, and we just have to shift our trading perspective, and that's a different kind of thing. Okay, so that was a really long, good, detailed video. I hope you enjoyed it. I want to do more of these kinds of things. I'll try to get to them. New father and having the time of my life here, so it's hard to take myself away from it all, but I do enjoy doing these kinds of things. And, if you have any questions, give me get in my DMs. And these tools I created are, I think, quite powerful. Let's just quickly take a look. I've got a lot of scripts here. I'm going to be you know, releasing hopefully more and more of these kinds of things. Here we go, scripts. I've got a lot of things going on here, but let's just take a look at what is public. And we've got here the time price twist box. That's a really interesting tool to play around with. It might take a lot of playing around with the settings, but I've got some videos out there. Look up twist under my Twitter account, and you'll find lots of little samples of charts and videos that, or at least a couple videos, or one or two videos that I've put out there in the past. The vibration box, obviously, we've been working with that. So there's all kinds of things here for you to play around with. Yeah, I would definitely take a look at this one here, the time price twist. Try throwing a vibe box in something like this. It's a great idea. Okay. All right. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to be back to the snow and back to my baby daughter, and you again can catch me in my DMs. Have a great one.